Zero Mark here with some deck building advice for newer players of Legendary Game of Heroes. My biggest piece of advice to you when it comes to Legendary is that when you're spending gems, target decks, not cards. When I first started playing, I collected all of the free gems from playing and I used them to buy packs that would give me cards that I could build up a large collection of cards, figuring the more cards that I had, the more options I would have to put together a powerful deck, and the higher the chance I would get some really powerful cards, and then having those powerful cards, I could build a deck around that. It turns out, for Legendary, that that's a bad strategy, and I wasted a bunch of gems on cards that turned out to be pretty much worthless to me. There's several reasons for this that I'll go over, but the biggest thing is that no individual card in and of itself is going to be that valuable. So just buying random packs to build up your collection, not a good plan. When you're spending gems, target a deck. So you want to be targeting something where you can be getting all of the different pieces of the deck at once. Because if you just pick up a card here, a card there, and you try to put them together, you're not going to be able to build a good deck. Why is that? Why do I say target decks and not cards? Well, the first thing is that you're going to want your deck to be all of one color. Some match games like this, you want to have a hero of each different color so that you're not wasting any gem matches and that all of the stuff is being used. In Legendary, enough of the cards have board manipulation skills that allow you to change the color of gems or to destroy gems that are not of the color that you want, that on a regular basis, you're going to be able to get the screen entirely filled or mostly filled with one color of gem. And since damage is based on making large matches, having the whole board filled with one type of one color gem and having all 5 of your heroes being of that color is the way that you're going to maximize damage. And with the board manipulation skills that are available, you're going to be able to do that on a regular basis. So decks will be one color. But in addition to color, if we look at any individual hero, you can see they have a color. This is a water type, but at the top it says Warrior Honored, and that Honored is the card's type. There are lots of different types for cards. This card is a Dark Corrupt type. So the type matters as well. There are, in fact, 3 things that are specifically type-based that are going to make it so that not only do you want your deck to be all one color, you want your deck to be all one type. And here are the 3 things that drive you wanting to have your deck be all of one type. First is Leader Skill. The Leader Skill for this particular card is Fire Corrupt Might 4, 300% damage and HP for all Fire Corrupt heroes. Note the 2 modifiers, Fire for color and Corrupt for type. So this Leader Skill only applies if your deck is all one color and all one type, in particular Fire and Corrupt for this one. And all of the leader skills are similar. The only leader skill that's a little bit different is if you look on the Legends cards. The Legend cards have a leader skill that's 200% damage and HP for all water heroes. So it doesn't have the type restriction, it just has the color restriction. But notice it's only 200 rather than 300, which is a big deal. And there's still 2 more reasons why you're still going to want to have them all be the same type, and if you have them all be the same type, you might as well be getting the 300% bonus rather than the 200% bonus. So leader skill is the first reason why you want to have them all the same type. The second reason is intensity. Intensity is type specific. So here, this card uses Corrupt Intensity, and if you look at the passive, it says every stack of Corrupt Intensity increases the drop rate of fire gems. So the more Corrupt Intensity you have, the more fire gems you're dropping. Almost every card in this game has intensity, and the more intensity is built up, the more valuable and useful that card is. But intensity is type specific. So if you have 2 different types of cards in your deck, you have an Honored card and a Corrupt card, you then need to be collecting 2 different types of intensity. And that makes it so more difficult, so you're not going to have one big stack of intensity, you're going to have 2 kind of lower stacks, and generally speaking, the higher it is, the better. So having one deck that has the same type, that's all working on building and using the same intensity type, is going to be much more powerful. The third reason, so leader skill, intensity, and the third reason you want your cards to be all of the same type is from the relic, because relics are type specific, the event relics. So this one targets all corrupt heroes, so it's targeting type. What that means is if I have an honored hero and a corrupt hero in this deck, the attack bonus from this relic will only go to the corrupt heroes, so it won't go to the honored heroes. Well, I could use generic relics like this Fire Claymore that target all fire heroes, so then I should be able to not have to worry about things being type specific. The other benefit to the event specific and type specific relics is that they have this fire gem creation at the beginning of battle. When you start the battle, you can't fire off your board manipulation skills right away because you need to have built up red gems in order to use those skills. So how do you get the board to be manipulated before the game even starts? You do it through these relics. The event relics create 4 fire gems at the beginning of battle as long as a corrupt is on the team. So the more of these I have, the more red gems I get right at the beginning, which allows me to drive everything. Also, this relic, being the corrupt type relic, generates corrupt intensity. So if I want to build up intensity, I want to have fire gems at the beginning of the battle, I'm going to need to use type-specific relics. And if I'm using type-specific relics, then I need type-specific cards in my deck. So I want a deck that's all one color and all one type. So this deck that I built here is a Fire Corrupt deck. And if we look at the team intel, we can see that the leader skill applies to all 5 heroes. All of my relics are also buffing all 5 of these heroes. So what's the effect if we change things? Let's swap out one of these corrupt type heroes and add in a god type hero that's the same attack. Look at the attack between the 2 cards on the left, 3.2k and 3.3k. So basically the same attack level. But now if I look at Team Intel, you can see that now the leader skill is only buffing 4 of the 5 heroes. The god hero I added is not being buffed. The relics are also not buffing that god hero. Only the last generic relic is. So if I use this deck in a battle, let's see what the difference is by changing to a non-corrupt hero. So when I start mixing types, how does that affect damage?
So we can see that damage is hugely affected. The 4 heroes on the right are the corrupt type heroes. They're doing 290 to 321 million in damage. The god hero on the far left only does 59 million. That's about 5 times less damage. And remember, the base attack was the same. So by having that leader skill and by having the relics boosting it up, those 2 things combined make the corrupt type heroes do 5 times as much damage as the card that has the type that doesn't match. Those numbers show pretty starkly how different the damage can be if you have cards that are of different types. So 5 times more damage just for matching the type. That's hugely significant. So the practical application of that is that if you have the same color and the same type, it really affects how you can build decks. So if I search for just fire heroes, you can see that if I'm looking at just fire heroes, I have tons of heroes that I could look through to build my team with. Find the ones that are the strongest, with the highest stats, put them all together, build a team around. That's the way things would normally go. But when I have to add in that it's not just the same color, but also the same type, now if I sort for fire corrupt heroes, the number of cards I have to search through falls dramatically. You'll notice 4 of those are warden cards. Those are not going to be mainstays in an attack deck. So really I have 7 cards to choose from. And that's not unusual. If I choose other random combinations, so say light technological, set that filter. I have 2 heroes. Let's try Earth, Fable heroes. I have 3. So I don't even have enough to build a deck, much less be able to piece together things of individual parts. Let's look at Dark Demigod set filter. There I've got a few, but again, mostly Wardens. And still not that many to really build a deck out of. So if we're going to be building decks and have them be all the same color and be all the same type, you're really going to have to target specifically getting cards that are the same color and the same type, and not just randomly getting things from packs and hoping to build decks out of them. So the way to do that is that each event that comes along has a deck that goes along with it, and that deck is made up of cards that are the same color and the same type. So my recommendation for getting strong decks together is to save up your gems and then go after an event deck. In my next video, I'm going to talk about specifically how to build an event deck and how much it's going to cost, both in terms of gems and in real world dollars, and how to put one of those decks together to get something really powerful. Until next time.